Good morning. This is Don V with Truth Be Told, and we have a couple news reports. One of them I can't bring here on YouTube, so be sure to go to my Rumble account. You're going to find out some about a whistleblower that Code Monkey got and got the Dominion passwords that they were looking for. It's really interesting information there. At any rate, before we move to the reports, please remember to subscribe. Over 90% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribers, and it's completely free. Really helps me out and helps my channel grow. At any rate, without ado, let's go ahead and move right to it. First one, he lied. Vindman reveals in Memoir that he was the whistleblower in Trump's sham impeachment after he testified under oath that he wasn't the whistleblower. Oh, this boy's in trouble. In November 2019, NSC leaker Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, traitor, testified on day 3 of the Adam Schiff Show Trial. Ranking members of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, Republican California, straight up asked Vindman if he discussed the July 25th Trump-Zelensky phone call with anyone outside the White House. Vindman testified that he spoke to 2 people about Trump's call to Zelensky, George Kent, a State Department employee, and someone in the intelligence community about Trump's phone call. Vindman would not name the second person. House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff, traitor, Democrat of California, quickly interjected when Nunes began to drill down to find out which agency this second anonymous person worked for. And here's the report I was talking about at the beginning. Be sure to click on the link. I'm going to put it in the description, and it'll take you to my channel on Rumble. And please subscribe there as well. Okay, moving on. Schiff said he wanted to protect the whistleblower and he wouldn't let Vindman answer. Nunes then pointed out that Vindman previously testified in closed-door deposition that he did not know the identity of the whistleblower, and if that were true, then how would he know to keep the second person's name private? But during his public testimony, Vindman admitted to being the primary source of the leak to whistleblower Eric Caramella. It was later discovered that Vindman also lied about the contents of the call. Trump did not offer the Ukrainian official a quid pro quo. Joe Biden did. In upcoming Memoir, Vindman now describes himself as the whistleblower in Trump's sham impeachment trial. So once again, Vindman discredits himself and admits he lied under oath to Congress. Interesting how all these guys managed to get book deals. All right, moving to the next report. It says CNN Cuomo opens show by ignoring brother, criticizing Florida and Texas, and says vaxxed have rights infringed upon by whatever. On Tuesday, broadcast on the Communist News Network, Cuomo's primetime, host Chris Cuomo opened the show by ignoring the report on the sexual misconduct of his brother, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Democrat, while criticizing Florida and Texas, and stating that Jabberdoodle people have had their rights to work and live as they want infringed upon, in significant part because of those who have failed to do the same and help this virus change into what it is now, the Delta variant. The candy variant. Cuomo, allegedly, Cuomo began the show by saying, "We focused on COVID here, especially until we get the Delta variant under control." He continued by criticizing the coronavirus response in Florida and Texas, and after turning to New York City's Jabberdoodle requirements, Cuomo stated the Jabberdoodles are the victims, and remember who the vacationed are. We talk about the unvacationed all the time, and rightly so. But remember, this is about the tyranny of the minority. The majority of this country, people from the left and right, and center, north and south, all places, all faces, and majority, have taken the step to protect themselves and others, so that the majority, and that majority, has had their rights to work and live as they want infringed upon, in significant part because of those who have failed to do the same and helped this virus change into what it is now, the Delta variant. Cuomo also criticized former President 45 for not doing enough to convince people to get vacationed, and stated, "Now think about how many lives could have been saved if 45 made as much of a symbol of support for him as his hats. Whatever. There's nobody on this planet that is going to be able to make me take the jabberdoodle. Senate infrastructure bill includes pilot programs to test mileage tax on motorists. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg had floated the creation of vehicle miles traveled system earlier this year as a way to fund an infrastructure bill. Yeah, let's tax people for driving. Earlier this year, the Biden administration floated the idea of taxing motorists based on the number of miles they travel each year. Now, senators who crafted the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill are moving the idea one step closer to reality. A pilot program to create a system for taxing drivers based on their vehicle mileage was slipped into Section 13002 of the legislation entitled National Motor Vehicle per Mile Vehicle per Mile User Fee Pilot. Senators could change the language as they try to find a final version of the bill that can secure enough votes for passage. Earlier this year, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg floated the creation of such a system during the confirmation process as a way to fund an infrastructure bill. The idea was later abandoned by the Biden administration. Yeah, it's completely unconstitutional. You have the rights to travel, and you shouldn't be taxed upon your ability to travel. The current draft legislation requires Buttigieg and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen to provide recommendations to Congress 3 years after the pilot starts, allowing lawmakers to decide then whether to impose a national per mile tax. The program would target passenger motor vehicles, light trucks, and medium and heavy-duty trucks, and suggest fees that may vary between vehicle types and weight classes to reflect estimated impacts on infrastructure, safety, congestion, the environment, and other related social impacts. Like, we don't pay enough already. You know what would it cost me to renew my truck for 1 year? $660, and I'm in Arizona. This is just absolutely asinine. All right, so moving on. It recommends seeking volunteers in all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, and test various ways of tracking mileage, including through smartphone apps and third-party onboard diagnostic devices. They won't be putting it in my truck. The Secretary, in coordination with the Secretary of Treasury and consistent with the recommendations of the Advisory Board, shall establish a pilot program to demonstrate a national motor vehicle per mile user fee to restore and maintain the long-term solvency of the Highway Trust Fund and to improve and maintain the surface transportation system, the bill states. The objectives of the pilot program are to test the design, acceptance, implementation, and financial sustainability of the National Motor Vehicle per Mile User Fee to address the need for additional revenue for surface transportation infrastructure and a National Motor Vehicle per Mile User Fee, and to provide recommendations relating to the adoption and implementation of a National Motor Vehicle per Mile User Fee. Oh, these people are just burning me up with the garbage that they're bringing to us. All right, on the red state, it says Michigan House member rips DOJ for dropping Whitmer nursing home investigation. I agree. Gretchen Whitmer has dodged some political landmines this year. First, she blew off her own COVID-19 restrictions and rented a private jet to fly down to Florida and visit her dad, bring her daughters back home from Florida. Then she instituted a multi-level plan to encourage Michiganders to get vacationed, but blew that up after a couple of weeks with no fanfare of much criticism when Michigan pretty much ignored the program. Just like last week, she learned that the Slow Joe Department of Justice was dropping all inquiries into how states like Michigan and New York handled the nursing home protocols during the height of the COVID-19 crisis last year. While she didn't have a direct hand in the DOJ dropping this, let's just say that, unlike when DJT was prez, the current occupant of the Oval Office will take her calls ASAP, if you catch my drift. One of the Michigan's congressional members is none too happy about this decision and has made it known in a letter to Michael E. Horowitz, Inspector General of the DOJ. Here is part of what Congressman Lisa McCain is requesting from the DOJ in light of the decision to drop this important investigation.
This decision has thousands of Michiganders across the state concerned.
Can't do that throughout the whole thing. The old wicked witch. Families all across the state are demanding answers for why their loved ones were locked in facilities and COVID-carrying individuals for over a year. Michiganders have demanded answers from their governor to no avail last year. It seemed the DOJ was going to finally get answers from Governor Whitmer for the people of Michigan. On July 22nd, 2021, that hope faded when with the department's decision. For that reason, we are requesting that you open a formal inquiry into why the Department of Justice will not conduct an investigation into Governor Whitmer's decision to place COVID-19 infected patients in long-term care facilities. In a press release by Michigan Rising Action, they clearly agree with Congressman McLean's decision to ask for an investigation into this. Oh, I apologize. That was McLean I was making fun of, and I meant to be making fun of Whitmer. All right. Says the Democrats' shameless attempt to give political cover to Governor Whitmer so she can avoid being held accountable for a deadly nursing home scandal is a new low in American politics, said Eric Ventimiglia, executive director for Michigan Rising Action. Ventimiglia continued, "We applaud Congresswoman McLean for her decision to uncovering the truth of what happened in nursing homes in Michigan. The DOJ's decision is a betrayal to all of the families who have lost ones due to Governor Whitmer's policy, but we are confident that leaders like Lisa McLean will ensure those responsible will answer for their negligence." This is no small issue, and the effort to see what happened not only here in Michigan but in other states like New York is not trivial in any way, shape, or form. How we treat those who once cared for us is a damn important issue and an indicator of what kind of overall society we have in our nation. Just this past May, an independent journalist by the name of Charlie Leduff released some disturbing data on how the nursing home numbers on deaths are being possibly undercounted. For my article report, Michigan nursing home COVID deaths could be unreported by 40% or higher. It appears that Michigan's wildly undercounts COVID deaths in its long-term care facilities. Joint investigation by the No BS NewsHour and the McCacknick Center of Public Policy reveals the Department of Health and Human Services does not do a thorough job of scrubbing vital records to determine whether people who died of COVID were nursing home residents as its own guidelines require. Moreover, our investigations found the DHS did conduct a limited review of those vital records last summer and found that 44% could be traced to nursing homes. Don't expect the nursing home data to get better or more accurate. DHS has abandoned the practice of thoroughly scrubbing records because it's considered too time-consuming. Why does this matter? As I said above, we have been told that the state officials are basing all the decisions they were making on science and data, so all the closures and restrictions we experienced here in the Great Lakes state were supposed to be based on the best data possible. According to LaDuff's Deadline Detroit story above, they reviewed records after having to sue to have a FOIA request honored and found this. From March to June of 2020, the state audited 1,468 death records, and of those, 648 deaths were traced back to long-term care facilities. Taking that 44% as an average and applying to the near 7,000 other vital record deaths recorded would be close to another 3,000 deaths for those who are being cared for in care facilities. Just shoving people into nursing homes during a pandemic doesn't seem to be a humane or based on the science and data, as we have been constantly told that the federal government is willing to drop this investigation when the work done by LaDuff and McCacknick Center shows that, at least here in Michigan, there are some serious questions on the numbers reported. The DOJ dropping this looks like political gamemanship of the worst kind. Is this how we should be treating our parents and grandparents, sweeping investigations about how they were treated underneath the rug? I'm not good with that, and I'm glad that others in Congress like Lisa McLean are not either. Me either. I think this is just absolutely ridiculous. This woman should step down immediately, and they need to send the military over there and arrest her. At any rate, That's just my personal opinion. This was a lot of alleged information. Got to say that on YouTube. Alleged. It's all alleged. This is Don V with Truth Be Told, broadcasting under partly cloudy skies. Looks like we might be, 81, 82 today. I'll take that. And hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday. And we are out of here.